My first book.
Your first book?
Yeah, and then after that, I wrote a book on my brothers out there, Abhishek Kapoor and Darlof Sarkar. And then I did a book on, what's her name? She had won Miss Universe from there. Harness Sandhu. My most impactful book is All Lives Should Matter. Well, the first book, I had an illustrator. And then after that, I kind of started learning how to do some things on my own. And so I started it started with a conversation with my brother Abhishek Kapoor out of India. He's one of their top authors. He's the founder of Digital Gold Gappa, one of the biggest media marketing outlets of India. And so me and him was chopping it up, and he was saying how my books, he gave me like the best compliment ever. He said, your books all have their own look to them. And the way you do them, he said, it reminds me of a movie producer and writer from America. And he couldn't think of his name. And I said, Tyler Perry. He said, yeah, kind of, but no. Yeah. And he said, Spike Lee.
Wow.
And he said, when people see your books have this own look to it. And he like, what would you call it? And so from there, my mind started kind of like, dang, I do have my own way of making the books. And so with Kickbooks, you use real illustrations, real pictures. So if you look at the cover over there of the abandoned black boy, that's a real picture. And so what I did was animate it or cartoon it and make it appealing to children. And so, man, that feels so good. So I make it appealing to children, but the conversation is gonna be pretty heavy.
Okay. Yeah.
And so the concept of it is, I feel like in the black community or culture or broken home community, I like to call it, our children have seen enough characters.
Yeah.
They don't need another character that's unreal, that has powers that we don't have as humans. And so we start our children off. It's nothing to have to imagine things and to be able to manifest and have an imaginary mindset. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're in a broken home culture like we are, the black community, you're dealing with a lot of real life situations.
Yeah.
Those characters can't help our children. And so the concept of Kickbooks was highlighting a real person's character, making them look like a character because we're animating them. And then so when our children read these books, they can identify with real people characters that they can really use in real life. And so like with the Charleston White book, Every Neighborhood Needs a Mr. Charleston, we're highlighting his attributes as a man and what he does in the community and have been doing. And so we're making him look like a superhero with the animations and the coloring. So when a child read it and they see his real character versus a character, when they look around in their community, they might be able to identify and say, Mr. Tom is just like Mr. Charleston in the book. You know, and so that's the whole concept of Kickbooks. Is we're destroying characters and we're highlighting real characters. Charleston goes live a lot. So last year, I requested to get on his live video on Instagram. Not really knowing what I was about to say or anything, but I had a feeling like he's about to accept my, request. Yeah. In the midst of it, I got to telling him about how our journeys were similar and how I was appointed official. Things I fought for in the community so was similar to him. I told him I was a world record holder, author, all those things.
Can you tell me about that world record?
I'll get to that in a second. I got you.
No, you wrote.
But and so he was real impressed, and he actually defended me, which was like my first time seeing him do that. Cause somebody on the comments said, I think he capping. And so he goes along and say, no, he ain't lying. Because I had told him, like, I just sent you a message trying to send you one of my books called All Lives Should Matter. Yeah. And so I was explaining to him All Lives Should Matter. He like, yeah, you know, I would like a copy of it. And somebody like, you know, he capping and he like, man, he ain't lying. And so me and him get off the live and he's still talking about me. Like, I hate people like y'all. Y'all just think people come on here always lying and, you know, why he gotta lie. And so from there, he kind of reached out at that time for my number. I sent him the book, he posted it. He reached out, he asked for my number, but then a lot of his pages was getting taken down at the time. It was like his Rat Williams page. And so it ended up getting taken down, so we never connected. And I just, you know, still was a fan supporting. One day, just watching one of his interviews, it just inspired me to, like, you know, he does a lot for the culture, I feel like. So it's like, do something for him. You know, so he's like the first person we ever had in American history to stand up to gangs the way he did, just boldly, you know, and unapologetically, you know. And so I just felt like he deserved the trophy, you know.
Now, my question is about, we backtrack. Talking about Charleston White.
Right.
I first came to the radar of Charleston White, you know, because he was trolling.
Right.
So what made him? They asked the question, but I want to know what made him, like, when you say you felt it, you know, inner peace or whatever, you know, how you say, what made you just say, oh, I'm gonna try to request. I got a feeling he gonna accept my request. And so, what made him, out of all the niggas he be trolling, because I don't see him just dog niggas, like, they'll come on there, oh man, get your punk ass up out there, you ain't talking about shit. Oh, you say, oh man, Unc, I'm trying to ask you this and I'm trying to do this and that. And
he'll hoe you.
Hoe him straight up.
And
you know what I'm saying?
I had a little inkling in me, like, I hope this nigga don't get
do that,
off.
right.
But I had a feeling that
he wouldn't do it.
I always been protected. Right. Even when I get done bold, there's still some protection there.
Right.
And so I don't know. I don't know. When I talked to him on the phone, like last week, I said, "Do you remember that?" He's like, "Yeah, nigga, I remember. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. I remember. I still got the book. Yeah. So it's hit or miss with him.
Right.
I done had a moment where we was at the mall about a week ago. And he called me, and I said, "Oh, I'm on some bullshit." Nigga, I was mad as fuck. Like, I didn't want to cuss Unc out.
Right,
but I'm just like, "Yes, sir, I hear you, yup. He like, "Yeah, I'm uninterested with the book," and da. But I think he was really checking to see if the agreement we came up with was official.
Yeah.
Because after that, he got to promoting the fuck out the book and showing love. And, you know, so he's just a real person. And I try to keep it, no matter how accessible I am to him, I still keep it a distance. I still keep it as I'm a fan.
Right.
I don't want to really get too close to him personally. I don't want to, because he's a man.
Right.
It's something I'm going to see that's going to make me look at him different. If he hang around me long enough, it's something about me.
Right.
And he going to say, this nigga's a children's book author. And, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm smart enough to know that. I didn't live long enough to keep distances on certain shit.
Right.
So we only talk business. And we keep it real short and straight to the point, you know? All Life Should Matter in the book, it's 3 kids walking down the street and they hear some gunshots. And so they go run behind the house. They see a cop standing over a black man. They see everybody come out and march. The streets is filled up. They got their chants going on. No justice, no peace. You know, they're regular. The day of the guy's funeral, which was about a week later, a drive-by happens. The little boy who's walking down the street with his 2 friends, they get killed in the house because their uncle was a Crip. And the Bloods had shot up the house. And so...
True story?
No. Well, yeah, it's a true story somewhere.
Right.
The kids died, so the little boy is expecting everybody to come out and march, like they did when the cop killed the guy.
Yeah.
Nobody showed up. All lives should matter. And so the concept of it is, until we start looking at all killing as wrong, the world not gonna change. We only show up if you have a badge and kill somebody. But yet, niggas kill niggas every day. And we don't march, we don't protest, we don't nothing. And that's something we can control. You know, so all life should matter. That's the concept of it.
That's real.
I think people should get whatever they want. the way they want it. My view on death and life is totally different than it was years ago. All this shit a hotel.
Yeah.
And you don't live at a hotel, do you? You stop at a hotel to visit. And and you make it the best stay while you're there. And our objective is to leave things in that hotel. We all got a fingerprint that nobody else on the planet has. So that means it's things that you could do if you tap in that nobody else on the planet can do. So while you at the hotel, it's your job when the next people come to know that you was there. Some people pass through the hotel and nobody ever knew that they ever stopped through because they never found themselves. They never found their purpose. They followed along with the system trying to be black instead of being a nigga. The nigga, listen to me. The nigga in America, listen to me. The nigga in America is the most freest person on the planet.
I ain't gonna lie.
Now listen to me. He's the most freest because he don't have a heritage to go by. He don't have a tradition.
Yeah, I get you on that.
Everybody else has a programming they already come with as soon as they're born. The nigga is the only person who don't have a history, a tradition, nothing. So he has a free mind to create whatever he wants. The Hispanic people got tradition to go by.
Yeah.
African people, they got tradition to go by. The nigga in America is the only person on the planet who don't have nothing to go by. That's beautiful. But if you let the world tell you, you lost. That's what got Malcolm X killed. Malcolm X didn't go through the phases. Malcolm X learned some information that he wasn't ready to learn. Me, I went through every phase, so when I'm learning information, it makes sense to me. Malcolm X didn't understand how Elijah Muhammad had so many children by different women. It's because he knew he was gonna leave the hotel at some point. And so if he's one of the greatest men of all time, I'm supposed to leave my DNA here as much as I can. Malcolm X was still pro-black. When he went to go visit the Mecca is when he realized, oh, only in America this pro-black shit exists. They don't even treat me like I'm black over here. So he jumped over steps to being able to comprehend that. So when he came back, he's pointing the finger at Elijah Muhammad and saying, y'all wrong for y'all teachings. And then he found out that Elijah Muhammad then was sitting down with the head of the KKK. And so Elijah Muhammad's son was educating him on, the white dude who just left, that's such and such. So he like, oh, this shit a big lie. If he would have went through the steps, he would have learned that niggas started the KKK. Think about what I'm about to say. Why would white people hide during a time where it's known that they hate you? They got signs on they businesses saying, whites only. Why would we have to put on the hood to come burn some shit down? Because it was black people in the beginning. So they will hide who they are to help try to kill off the niggas. So back to the question. I went through all the steps. Born crack baby. Got older, I was a basketball star. Went from that to drug dealer. Did pretty well at the time. Rapper. Community activist. Politician. Author. So I went through, I'm 37. So I went through every step. So I can look back and say, nigga, I'm not fighting for the black community. I'm fighting for the world. Somebody else can't say that because they didn't go through all the steps. Where's War I?
What?
Where's War I?
War I?
See what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Nobody even knew until I ran for office. You got people 60 years old, 80 years old. I'm like, yeah, I'm running for War I. They like, huh? I'm like the South Side. They're like, oh, yeah, I'll vote for you. So I done a whole bunch of shit for the local community and the black community. I got people who voted for the first time and they was 80 years old in their whole life. You know what I mean? So it's a whole bunch of shit. You know, and I'm not perfect. You know, I got shit that I done made mistakes and shit. You know what I mean? I ain't perfect, nigga. Whatever the probability that I can help the most is what I'm gonna do. And that's what my mindset, because my purpose is with the universe, not with the black community.
Yeah.
The black community don't even know who they are. How can I attach that to my purpose? So just think about the game that's being played. They start a game and they create all these boxes. And in the boxes you got race, sexuality, class, tax bracket, which ties into class. You got all these boxes. Meanwhile, the universe don't give a fuck about none of that shit. The universe, like, did you tap into your DNA while you were at the hotel? Yes or no? That's the first question the universe gonna ask you. And if it's no, all that other shit don't mean nothing. Because you can't take none of it with you. You can't take your tax bracket when you go to see the universe, when you leave the hotel. You can't take your sexuality, because you might be a turtle when you leave here. You see what I'm saying? You're just a soul. So your job is to be the best soul you can be while you're here on Earth. It's not to conform to the system. It's not to fight for people. Or none of that shit. It's to be the best soul you can be in the universe. The niggas get tricked with the black shit.